Hey, everybody! Welcome into Around the Felt. I'm your host, Reagan, here with my co host, Colin. We're breaking down all things Week 15 in the NFL. We're going to be talking about the matchups. We're going to be talking about the fantasy. We're going to be talking about the gambling. We're going to cover it all. But, Colin, how you doing on this very brick night, some would say? I guess you would
Yeah,
say. You
that's what
described
the
it before,
that's what
brick?
the kids would say. It is brick out. Yeah, it's freezing, man. It's freezing up in the New York, New Jersey territory right now. But we're all bundled up. Well, you have to be out in the garage. You must be a little
Yeah.
cold out there right now. But I'm all bundled up inside in the
Yeah.
warmth. So ready to talk some ball, man. Ready
Yeah,
to
for
talk
you
some ball.
like he said, for you construction guys out there, they don't typically insulate garages, so yeah, it's pretty cold in here. That's why I
I
got my
bet.
nice vest on.
Surprised you don't
Sometimes
have
I'll
your wool hat on.
yeah, not today, not today. I'm not sick this week recording, so I'm good to
Mm,
go. Good
there
to
you
go.
go. There
Looking
you
to
go,
get sick
man.
again.
All right, man. Let's get into the news. Unfortunately, it's not going to be a fun news cycle. A lot of pretty major injuries to some of the NFL's best and brightest stars, including Patrick Mahomes tore his ACL as the Chiefs got eliminated from playoff
Yeah.
contention. So it doesn't matter for this year, really. You're just hoping that it's a clean ACL tear and there's no more ligament damage so that he's ready to go for week 1 of 2026. Obviously, it doesn't really matter because they're eliminated from the playoffs. So who gives a fuck about the outlook for the Chiefs this year? If you got Rashee Rice, if you got Travis Kelce, you got Xavier Worthy, rolling with Gardner Minshew, not ideal compared to Patrick Mahomes. But
Yeah.
I think you're still probably going to play those guys. Maybe
Yeah, you're
not
not
Worthy, but
shocked.
you're
You're not
still going to
shocked.
probably play Kelce and Rashee Rice. You're not chalk, but we'll
Yeah,
see how they
Kelsey's
look
been pretty
for
good,
the rest of
honestly.
the fantasy playoffs.
Yeah, I would say yeah, those two are must starts, but everybody else you probably hitting the bench. I don't think you could even put out Worthy. Um, and for Mahomes, this is terrible. You know, I hope he's good to go. You'd hate to see his career arc go downhill from here. But I guess the nice thing is, like, while he is very athletic and can be athletic, it's not like Mahomes needs his athleticism to be Mahomes. Like, it's just a nice add on to it. But, as long as that arm's good, he's chilling. Um, what I'll say is too, I'm not looking forward to the narrative 10 years from now where, Mahomes is getting ready to retire and they're like saying, well, the 1 year Mahomes missed the playoffs was because he was injured. It's like, I can't wait for that to happen 10 years from
Yeah,
now.
everyone's going to
It's like,
forget.
that's
Yeah.
everyone's going to forget. And it's going to be like, well, that wasn't the case at all. They were, they basically needed to win out and still it wasn't even a guarantee they were going to make it. So this injury has nothing to do with that. What I will say is, a lot of people who are in the playoffs, whether you're on a bye or, maybe you still got through even with Mahomes getting injured, you're going to be looking for pivot options this week. So later in the week, we'll definitely get into that. But some names that come to mind right away.
Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, Trevor Lawrence, if he's out
He's
there.
got Denver, though, but
9 against the Giants, I think definitely is in play. I think you could go Mariota, who's now been, well, I'm sure that was on the docket for you if you want to get right into that. But, with Jayden Daniels, I know they came out and said he's going to be benched for the rest of the season. So Mariota is going to be the starter going forward. And I think he's definitely in play as well against Philadelphia on Saturday if you're looking for a streamer.
yeah, as Reagan mentioned, Jayden Daniels officially shut down for the season, won't play the remaining 3 games. Missed this past Sunday with the re-aggravation of the left arm. And we've been talking about this for a couple weeks now, where it's like at what point they just pull the plug and look ahead to 2026 and keep their star quarterback healthy. And ultimately, now is the time that they've decided to make that move. So we'll be Marcus Mariota the rest of the way for the Washington Commanders.
Yeah, and I this is the right move. This is completely the right move. I mean, how can you continue to put him out there, if he's not 100% in a what's seemingly a lost season at this point? So I think with the amount of times they've continued to throw him out there and he's come back and got injured, and I know it's football, it's inevitable, but it's just like at a certain point, it's just not worth it. And I don't think there's any good that can come out of this season at this point. Putting him out there, you can only do long-term damage.
Absolutely, man. Unfortunately, another torn ACL for Packers star edge rusher Micah Parsons.
Yeah.
They gave up the 2 first-round picks and Kenny Clark to give him that huge contract, and this Packers defense has been lights out for most of the season. Him kind of leading the charge there in that regard with 12 and a half sacks. Unfortunately, his season comes to an end, and the Packers looked like they were primed to make a run at the Super Bowl in the NFC. Now, without their star pass rusher, it'll make things more difficult for sure.
Yeah, that's another one that's super unfortunate, especially due to the fact that they gave up a lot for him. and now to lose him when they're really in the thick of things, not only in the NFC North, but in the NFC playoffs, and just really a team that is all in now to win the Super Bowl. And it's going to be hard to see them go far in the playoffs losing someone of this impact. So I'll be curious to see, how this team can adjust, but I can't imagine, you have them as a team that you think would win the Super Bowl now. I certainly don't. I thought they could, but losing him for me definitely knocks them down a couple totes. Like I don't even feel confident that they're gonna I think we'll find out pretty quickly on Saturday, what this defense looks like without him. But I think Caleb Williams is gonna shred this defense at home on Saturday night.
He could. I mean, I was surprised how high scoring that Broncos-Packers game was, and the Broncos have gotten a lot of slack from national media, and rightfully so, where the offense has kind of been ho-hum up and down all season, but they hung a lot of points in this Packers defense, and Bo Nix played well. So it'll be interesting to see it, man. And I tell you what, who's got to step up is Lucas Van Ness, just returned from injury after not playing from week 5 and up until last week. He's not had the production you would have hoped for thus far in his career as a first-round pick. But now, instead of being that third or fourth guy off the edge as a rotational guy, he's going to have a huge, huge role opposite Rashawn Gary to fill the void of Micah Parsons.
Yeah, I mean, there's a huge void to be filled. So how could it not be? It's going to be interesting ultimately how it turns out. But I wouldn't feel any sort of confidence right now.
No, and I tell you what, Lucas Van Ness's most sacks in a season is his rookie year with 4.5. He's not getting up to that double digits that Micah Parsons was giving you in that week in, week out where you feel comfortable that guy's going to get you at least one sack. So it's going to be tough for the Packers to fill that void for sure.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on here, man. A guy that I know both you and I have had in fantasy this year and has done us really well, Davante Adams, going for a deep ball, streaking down the left side of the field, and you just knew right away, yep, that's a hamstring. He was bothered by it for a couple weeks, was playing through it, and running a go route just completely looked like he pulled it, and he went down in pain. They play Thursday night. We have Rams Seahawks, which is a banger of a game, but obviously with that quick of a turn, we're not going to see Davante Adams out there in your fantasy semifinals, and a game that is massive implications for the NFC playoff picture.
Yeah, this one, unfortunately, it's brutal to see. I guess for the Rams, they're fine. They already clinched the playoffs. They want to go get that 1 seed, but they're going to probably be cautious with him and let him, sit as long as possible. I mean, obviously, even if they were in the thick of things, even if he could rush back, I guess you could say, he wasn't going to play Thursday anyway. So you're guaranteed to not have him. It's just a matter of, is that 10 days after the fact enough to get him back for the championship week? And also it's if he does play and rushes back, the re-injury risk is very high. So you could end up getting really burned where if you play him and he tweaks something early on in the first and they're like, all right, we're pulling him out. It's not worth it. Where it's it's almost worse. It's where you would have been better off just having him not play that now you started him and he played 1 quarter of football and got banged up and left. So I know I'm upset with the leagues I have him in. It's a massive blow. I mean, I guess I don't even know if it's not, good for Puka either, because how much more targets and stuff could he get? Because he has such a high volume here anyway. I guess Colby Parkinson's a guy I'd be targeting at the tight end position if you are streaming, which most people probably are. So he's a guy I'm going to be, in a fantasy playoffs. Right now I've been streaming all year. So I'm putting in a pretty heavy fab bib. I still have a lot of fab left because there wasn't really any players I went heavy on. And I would think Colby a big benefactor of targets with Adams out, especially in the red zone, because he's already been scoring a lot recently, but without Adams now, that's just that much more. And I guess Kyron now, they may opt to do more running plays when they're on the 1-2 yard line instead of those Adams goal line fades.
That's a good point. We might see some more touchdowns for Kyron Williams and Blake Corum, but you make a good point too. It's Puka Nacua is already getting 15 targets a game. I don't know how many more they're going to give his way. And when you don't have Davante Adams, the opposite side, it's okay, is Puka just going to be doubled the whole game now? Potentially could be a factor this upcoming Thursday.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. But that is a massive, massive game for seeding.
Yes, it is. Brandon Ayuk placed on the reserve left squad list. Reagan, I didn't really know this was a list. And in our fantasy playoffs, Walmart was like, hey, why can't I put him on IR? He's out with a knee injury. recovering from the knee. I'm like, no. Sleeper says he's on the DNR list. Did not report. And in the settings for the league, there is a tag on Sleeper to say allow DNR players on IR, and it's at no. So I was like, well, that's a complete rule change. So it's got to be a unanimous vote from everyone that's still alive in the playoffs for you to have to clear that roster spot. So ultimately, he did not get the roster spot. That's changing a rule in the playoffs. So DNR, there is you can put
I'm shocked
DNR players and players with COVID-19 on IR. You have those settings in Sleeper. So the more you know. So
I guess it's why Sleeper's better than ESPN and other platforms. It's pretty cool.
The reserve left squad list, which almost certainly ends his career with the 49ers. The reports came out a couple weeks ago that there was a chance he could work his way back on the team this season and there could be a future in San Fran. But Kyle Shanahan said in his presser this morning, we haven't seen him in a month. I haven't seen him in a month. So he just gave up on his team and he's not in the building. I mean, if you're a GM, Reagan, is this the kind of guy you want to bring into your building, regardless of the talent? Because he was not productive at the beginning of 24, blew out his knee, didn't play in 25, and gave up on his team. And that's after signing a $30 million per year deal. Textbook 101 on how to blow up your entire future.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be going out of my way to sign him on a big term deal. I mean, he's still very talented, and it's hard to find talented wide receivers in this league. I don't even know what he looks like at this point. But it's definitely a red flag. I'd be shocked with, like I said, how scarce it is and hard it is to find, true. I don't know if he's a one, but he's pretty close to a number one. So I find it hard to believe that, some contender won't give him a chance, especially with like some of those older veteran coaches on even if it's like a prove it type deal, but not ideal. I mean, Buddy really let the bag go.
Yeah, that is an all-time bag fumble. That's for sure. All right, last piece of news I got, Reagan. Your New York Jets have fired defensive coordinator Steve Wilks in his first year with the team. Poor Steve Wilks. This guy just gets fired after a year everywhere he goes. Maybe he shouldn't get a job. I don't know. Just maybe as a position coach, that's fine. But seems like his days as a coordinator might be numbered. Your thoughts on this for your Jets after that up 48 points to the Jags?
Listen, I mean, it's tough when you trade away your two best defensive players, but still, I mean, Jacksonville's offense has been pretty middle of the pack, if not bottom half all year. So to allow Trevor Lawrence to do this when he hasn't looked really good at all or even competent, like we were saying, do they move on from him if the season goes bad, early on? And he really hasn't. This is like the first time Lawrence has looked like or even lived up to his number one status, this year. To allow them to do this and just beat you in all facets and put up that much production is, warrants being fired. I'm surprised they didn't just wait till the offseason, but I guess maybe they want to see, hey, whoever the interim DC is, whether that is Aaron Glenn now calling defensive play calls, or if they do opt to go with someone else on the staff, it's a little trial run over the next 3 games for next year. Because you got to think, the Jets are not moving on from Aaron Glenn. I would be shocked if they did. So I guess this is maybe his way of seeing if there's anyone in-house that deserves the DC job for next year. So I'm cool with it. I just don't know if that exactly sparks a team, but I guess we'll see what happens. But
yeah,
it's a long season anyway.
I mean, I guess if he's gone, you're going to move on after the season, might as well pull the plug and,
I guess
it's out of there. I mean, who knows? I know that he's viewed as a really good guy, but I don't know. Did you see the Josina Anderson tweet on this?
I did not.
Oh, it's so funny. It's so funny. I'm going to read this. You tell me what's wrong with this tweet. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
League source on Jets head coach on Aaron Glenn firing Steve Wilks. When you give up 48 points that easy, shit happens. I hate that for Steve Wilks because he's a good dude. But between you and I, our linebacker play has gotten worse. That's the part. Everyone's like, did you not read the part where he says between you and I, and then she tweets the whole fucking quote?
Oh my gosh.
Between you and I, our core linebacker play has gotten worse. You lose Quinnen Williams. You lose the element of inside pass rush. You have an undrafted rookie quarterback in there. We weren't expecting him to be Joe Namath, but obviously there's a disconnect out there with areas in the football team from a preparation standpoint. At the end of the day, we didn't play well. It's not all on Wilks. He was a defensive coordinator for the Niners in the Super Bowl a few years ago and a former head coach. You just hate that this shit happens.
Yeah. Whatever, bro.
Between you
know
and
what I mean?
and this guy who clearly is like probably a position coach on the Jets, probably the defensive side. It's like between you and our linebackers suck now. We don't have Quinnen Williams. We have an undrafted rookie quarterback. That's too good, man.
Oh, you gotta love it. You gotta love it.
All right, let's move on. Question bag, mailbag.
Yeah, so our first and only question comes from Mr. Shauny Mo tonight, and he just wants to know, what are your thoughts on Phillip Rivers' performance?
Hey, I'll tell you what. He fell over once or twice. He was moseying around. You got to give credit to the guy. He played pretty well. Like, clearly the arm is not there, but he still has that mental sharpness where he could read the defense. He threw with anticipation. I mean, yeah, there were a couple balls over the middle of the field, like 15 to 25 yards downfield that were just, looked like floating ducks out there. You know, he doesn't have the fastball anymore, but he's more like a savvy veteran pitcher that's going to paint the corners and just kind of knows how to beat hitters. That's what I would kind of compare it to. I mean, just impressive that he was able to do it. And the fact that they were 13.5-point dogs and they went in there and almost beat that team in Seattle on the road was pretty impressive.
Yeah, you know what was cracking me up a lot too? I just like the fact that, and I don't know if you saw this on Twitter, and I'm this obviously is not why, like, this guy's made millions throughout his career, but everyone was like, oh, it's convenient. His insurance expires at the NFL because you get 5 years after you retire that they still offer you health insurance and stuff. I'm like, everyone's like, oh, that's convenient. He had 2 months or a month left till it expired, and now he just re-upped another 5 years. And it's like, this guy has 10 kids, so like, you know, he just saved himself like $500,000 for the year or for the next 5 years because of how much that insurance policy, which I can only imagine is expensive for one person. Now, now add another 11 you got to take care of between your wife and 10 kids.
What's more important, getting into the Hall of Fame now, waiting 5 years, or getting 5 more years of health insurance? Probably the health insurance for Phillip Rivers, right?
Yeah, I don't even know if he was going to get in the Hall of Fame, to be honest. Like,
he was a semifinalist, but now the clock restarts, so it's another 5 years. But now he's not. I mean, I don't know. Who knows? I think he'll get in, probably.
But I mean, he can only help his case, right? Like, I mean, that game, like against Seattle, probably only helps his case. Like, that doesn't hurt him.
44 years old, like having the balls to do that, I'm sure that gained a lot of respect from the voters.
Yeah, it's wild. But yeah, that's all we had for questions.
All right, I got a question for you, Reagan. Start, sit. Which quarterback are you starting? Matthew Stafford against the Seahawks.
Okay.
Sam Darnold against the Rams. Or Trevor Lawrence against the Broncos.
And that's for this upcoming week.
Yes, that's for this upcoming week.
I think you got to go with Stafford out of those options because, you know, the other two are so hit or miss where Stafford's playing at an MVP level. You know, I know Seattle's defense, you could probably say, is the best out of the bunch, but they're all elite units. So I'm going to go with the proven guy. Like, Lawrence has been,
even with no Adams, you don't
pretty bad for the most part this year. Like, he does save you with some rushing upside, but he's the most inconsistent, and Darnold's definitely dropped off significantly, and the short week does not excite me at all. So I'm going to go with Stafford there. If I had to go between the other two options, I probably lean Lawrence just because he's been playing better football as of recently. And that Rams-Seahawks game screams like it's going to be low scoring just in a tough division battle, where we've also seen the Denver defense, where as good as it is on paper, be beatable. Like, we watched Jackson Dart put up some pretty big numbers against them, and some other teams where it's like you don't look at that offense and you're like, what's going on here? So we've definitely seen some low, middle of the pack to bottom feeder offenses have some production against that Denver defense. So I'd go Lawrence as my second option there.
Thanks, man. I got you in the semifinals this week, and those are my 3 quarterback options at QB2. So I'm going to go with Stafford.
Yeah,
but right. I do have Devontae Adams, who's out. So
no, that's all right. You can go with him. That's fine. That's fine.
Did you know that?
No.
When you think about it, you had no idea.
No. All right. Well, let me ask you this one hypothetically. Keep trade caught. Phillip Rivers, Kirk Cousins, Dak Prescott. Or actually, who would you rather start? Who would you rather start, Phillip Rivers or Kirk Cousins?
That's a legit question now. Legit question. Who do the matchups?
No, it's Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins has got a really good matchup. Let me see.
I mean, he just threw 3 touchdowns to Kyle Pitts,
Yeah, I think it's the Cardinals they got.
Oh, yeah, you got to go Kirk Cousins. You got to
Yeah.
You can't
Rivers
go Philip
got the
Rivers,
Niners going
dog.
now.
It's also Philip Rivers Monday Night Football, so if you want the sweat to come down to Monday night.
Yeah, I have to watch him throw the ball like 15 times and then give Jonathan Taylor 40 carries. No, I'm good.
It was crazy him working out of the shotgun so much and just draw on repeat.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
Got the job done, though. All
He
right,
did
man.
get the job done.
You ready to start talking about some of these ball games? Picks this week. You beat me again, man. You beat me again. I'm tell you what, this is one of the most, and I'm not saying this to gas you up because I'd love nothing more than to go at you, but 122 with 96 and 3 against the spread is fucking nuts, dude. That is nuts. You're 26 games above 500 on the spread in the NFL. That is really hard to do. I got to give you credit there. You went 10 and 5 this week, 12 and 3 on the money line. That's great. I went 8 and 7 with both. So a little bit of improvement for me. It's crazy. I was watching the games. I was like, damn, I'm doing pretty good. Now that I look at it, I had that thought during the 1 o'clock slate because that's when I did do pretty good.
Yeah.
I didn't do great later on.
Yeah, I'm working it in Laporte's pool too this year.
I mean, I'd hope so. I'm sure you're taking the same fucking picks. So,
yeah, I did good on the spread in college too. Good year for the spread. Spread's tough, but I ain't claiming to be a capper, but it's going well this year.
There you go. You want to talk some underdog first before we get into this? I know we were chatting a little bit about it earlier. Yeah. I had a lot of my teams shit the bed this week, so my 3 squads I got through the Millie Maker are dead, so I won't be a millionaire this year, unfortunately. I do have the puppy, which is a $5 buy-in. That's the one last year that I turned $5 into 1,500, got into the finals. So we had one puppy team go off, so we're going to advance there. My only other team left is the sprint. The sprint is 1 to 14, and then I think the top 1 or 2 or 3 advance, and then it's every team that advanced, it's weeks 15, 16, 17, all combined. And my team put up like 188 or something. We were looking earlier, Reagan. What is that, $10 buy-in? The sprint?
15.
$15 buy-in. Right now, I think I'm in the top, couple hundred. So I'm turning $15 into $2,000 right now. But I don't think I have anyone live tonight. So I'll probably taper down a little bit. But we got a fighting chance to make some good coin.
We definitely got ourselves a fighting chance.
Yeah. How about you, Underdog?
Really just the sprint's doing good. Like you, not as good, but definitely very happy with where I'm at. And then I made it through on one of the Badger Bowl ones, which is 6-man league. So got through on that. And the nice thing is it's only going to be a 5-man grouping next week. So max payout is $100K on that one. So I feel pretty confident where I'm at for that.
And what about standard fantasy football? I believe you were in a bye most leagues.
I had 4 out of my 5 leagues I had buys in, and then the one I had to play a matchup I won by a lot.
There you go.
So I will be in 5 semifinals out of 5 leagues next week. So
there you go, dude. There you go. I went 2-1. I lost in my school league to Luke. Shout out around the octagon. His team we didn't play defense. We couldn't stop the run, man. We got destroyed defensively. So it's hard to beat 182. So shout out Luke. He got me in that one. I do have a ring in that league though, so it's not the worst thing in the world. It is what it is. It hurts. And then I advanced in my other 2 leagues. With one league, when I have a combination of Kyle Pitts and Trayveon Henderson, it's kind of hard not to advance there.
Yeah. What is it? 70, almost 80 points right there.
It made the week a lot less stressful on Sunday when I had Kyle Pitts give me 45 on Thursday, and I already felt pretty good. And that's my work league, the biggest buy-in. So,
hell yeah,
man! All right, let's talk about these games. Thursday night football, man. This was a real fun one to watch in prime time. 29-28 win for the Falcons. They're 5-9. I mean, they don't have the first round pick, so who really gives a fuck? Go win as many games as you can and build for the future, I guess, even if it's with Kirk Cousins. And the Bucs dropped to 7-7. With the Panthers losing, it's really not a big deal because, as Reagan's mentioned on the pod last week, it's really going to come down to what happens when those 2 teams play. But obviously, it would have been nice to get a win against a divisional opponent, but it just didn't happen here. Baker wasn't bad, 277, 2 touchdowns a pick. Run game was kind of What I don't like is Sean Tucker is apparently the goal line back, so fuck me and my Bucky Irving shares, I guess.
Yeah, that was weird.
That sucks. I'm like, Sean Tucker, 4 carries for 7 yards. He got the touchdown, but they kept giving the ball inside the 5, and he'd get nothing. And I'm like, what are we doing here, man? Like, Did
I
Bucky
think
not
that'll
show you
change. That'll
all of
probably
last
change
year?
next
He could
week.
score inside the 5 and 10. That was ridiculous.
I think that'll change next week.
I hope it does. Receiving wise for the Bucs, Chris Godwin got in the end zone. Puka, I guess a decent bounce back, 4 for 64 compared to what we've seen over the last 2-ish months. But it was Mike Evans back in the picture.
Yup.
6
He
for
looked
132
phenomenal.
on 12 targets. Back like he never left. I know he left for a little bit in the game. It looked like he banged up that shoulder.
Probably
but
some people benched him too, not knowing what the production was. As I know, a lot of the books had his line at like 40 yards. So he obviously smashed that.
He had a 45-yarder. So he smashed that, and the one that he mossed the
Yeah,
TV.
because I think it sounded like they were saying he was going to be limited, but he was not limited at all. So, I mean, he looked fucking great, but
that dude was not limited.
You know, I'm firing him up in my one fantasy league next week where I'm facing you. I got him, in my IR right now, so I'm going to plug him right in, I think, for DK Metcalf. But the way he looked, that was a sheesh.
Fuck. Well, I guess we'll see how DK plays tonight, right? DK had a monster game last week. For the Falcons, getting the win here, Kirk Cousins. Vintage Kirk Cousins, should I say. 373 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. The only turnover for Atlanta was a Bijan Robinson lost fumble, which honestly was bang, bang. I didn't know if that was an incomplete pass, but it is what it is. Bijan 19 for 93 and a touchdown. Otherwise, also 8 for 82 through the air. So monster game for Bijan. And the Kyle Pitts game, man.
Woo,
11 for 166 and 3 tutties. The number 3 fantasy tight end performance all time. I think I saw a stat. It was 8% of his career fantasy points he got in this one single game. And I just go back, Reagan, when we first set up our first dynasty league, and I took Kyle Pitts as my first pick 13. Man, chestnut checkers. This is what I was envisioning. All 3 years later, him just going absolutely nuts now with no Drake London. I hope Drake London's out next week too, because I'd love to punch Kyle Pitts in to 2 of my fantasy rosters out of 4. That'd be nice.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how you don't play him. Kirk Cousins was finding him early, often, and always. With the Bucs, this is just a bad loss. I mean, it's funny. The Bucs and the Panthers are both trying to lose this division. It almost feels like the way they're playing.
Who wants it?
And the Saints may end up, with like 5 wins this year, 6 wins, and they may have the best division record out of all the teams and still come in last place in the division. Think about how wild that would be.
They've beaten all 3.
And I'll get into it a little bit later with the Saints, but I have a nice little future with them I like. But regardless of that, I mean, like I said, it worked out for the Bucs. The Panthers lost, but they still play each other twice, so those games are going to be massive. We're going to get to see the first one in Carolina this weekend, 1:00 game. I kind of was hoping that would get flexed to a primetime slot, but it's all right just because there's so much implications there. But I was not overly impressed. But having Mike Evans back was massive for them and for the Falcons. It's just, I guess, not even house money. It's just like you got what's the point of there's no reason to not go out and just ball out every week.
Exactly. Might as well, right? And James Pierce Jr., last thing, I think he had a sack in 4 or 5 straight games. So they gave up that first-round pick, but James Pierce Jr. looks every bit of a first-round edge rusher prospect right now.
Yeah. No, he's legit.
Makes it sting a little bit less. I'll just say that. Because it's not like this is a loaded draft class anyways, the 2026 class. Although there are a good amount of edge rushers, but.
Yeah.
All right. I don't want to spend too much time in this game. Commanders 29-21 over the Giants. They're now 4-10. Giants 2-12. So I know we both had the Giants. I thought I made some jokes like, it was fun having the number 1 overall pick. Well, we still got the number 1 overall pick as it stands. And that Giants-Raiders game in Week 17 going to most likely have massive implications on who gets that number 1 pick. And for the Giants, I want nothing more. Just fucking lose. I've never said that before out loud, but if you have the opportunity to get, it won't be in the same level of what the Bears got for Bryce Young, but something comparable to that. Look at the
why wouldn't
Bears
they
now.
take Mendoza?
They're not taking Mendoza, dog.
Dart is great for the Wildcat.
Dart made some good fucking throws in this game, dog. Dart made some really good throws. He was 20 of 36 for 246, 2 touchdowns. Did have a pick. He did have a pick, but it was also to Jalen Hyatt. The Giants have targeted Jalen Hyatt 14 times this year. 3 of those targets have become interceptions. And as a team, they just don't they have not thrown a lot of interceptions this year. It's Jalen Hyatt, unproportionally. They throw a ton of interceptions when they target him. The guy's a total bum. Get him off the fucking team. But yeah, I mean, I really want the Giants to get the number 1 overall pick because I think the coolest thing for this draft cycle would be the Giants and Jets swapping. The Jets getting Fernando Mendoza, the Giants getting both the Jets' first-round picks, and let's get a stud on offense and defense to throw into this lineup.
Oh, you're saying you would get the Colts pick and then you would move back.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I don't want that to happen, but just because I don't want them to draft a
You don't
quarterback.
want Heisman Mendoza?
I don't want them to trade up. I would take him if we don't have to trade up, but I don't think that's setting him up for success. I'd rather them build it up and draft someone in 27. But obviously, if he's there, you take him. It's kind of where I'm at.
But he's going to go number 1.
Yeah, so unless we're number 1, I don't want him.
But you're not going to be number 1.
Exactly. So I don't want to trade for him. I'd rather wait till 2027 when we have 3 first-rounders.
That's fair. I just don't see it happening. New regime in there. I think they're going to punt the quarterback position a second year in a row.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe trade for Kyler or something, or bring in Geno Smith on a 1-year deal.
Maybe because if the Raiders fall back, like the Raiders are going to try to move up for a quarterback. There's always the threat that the Rams might. They got 2 first-round picks. They got the Falcons pick they can move up from. The Browns
cool.
could be Shador, but the Browns could. If the Raiders win, the Raiders. Interesting, man.
Bring in Geno Smith. Let's build up that defense.
Wow.
Ball.
You've already seen that. Didn't really work out for you. All right, let's move on here. Talking about those Browns, they got shellacked by the Bears, 31-3. Chicago now 10-4, looking every bit of a playoff team and a team that might be able to do some damage in the playoff push. The Browns 3-11. This season's over. Shador throws 3 interceptions here in tough environments like negative 15, 20-degree weather with the wind chill. I mean, it's tough. Quinshon Judkins, 12 for 21. The Browns without 4 of their 5 starting offensive linemen, and you could tell it's just wavering on this offense because Judkins can't find anywhere to run here. Shador's getting pressured. He was sacked 5 times in this one. I mean, Harold Fannin, 7 for 48 is nice on 14 freaking targets. I had him 60 yards in the Felt 5, and it lost. If you would have told me he got 14 targets, I think he got 60 yards, but didn't work out for me. Isaiah Bond, 2 for 89. He's developing to a decent deep threat for that team, but that's enough for the Browns. Their season's over. Shador came back down to earth in this one. For the Bears, I mean, Caleb Williams, 242, 2 touchdowns, no INTs, did fumble, but it was recovered, so no turnovers against this Browns defense is impressive. Myles Garrett did get home, though. I will say he had a sack and a half, so he inched that much closer to the record for the Browns. Run game, Swift, 2 tutties, 98 yards, much better than Monungai in this one. Makes me hesitant to start Monungai in week 16 if you are starting him in the playoffs, unless you got like 16-man leagues. That's tough to justify. Tell you what, though, DJ Moore, tough season for him. 4 catches, 69 yards, 2 touchdowns. Great to see. Colston Loveland, 4 for 63. And how about my guy, Luther Burden, 6 for 84, Reagan?
Yeah.
He looks like he's stepping in. I mean, with no Romo Dunes here, Luther Burden looks good, again, man. I think it'll be Rome and Luther Burden in 2026 for this team. I see DJ Moore out, although he is a leader, and he did have a good game in this one. But I don't know, man. Luther Burden's really stepping up, and he's been more consistent than DJ Moore. Yeah,
I mean, they said Rome's day-to-day, so I would imagine he's week-to-week, so I'd imagine he'll probably miss again. Even though it is a massive game, it's trending towards him missing, so I would imagine another big game for Luther Burden can be in store against the Packers. Regardless of that, though, I mean, Bears got it done here. With the Packers losing, that helps, but that game on Saturday night is going to be so big. Not that it already wasn't, but I believe they won't officially clinch, but if you're able to win that game, I mean, you really control your own destiny to win that division.
Especially with the Lions loss, yeah.
Because then you'd be up a game and a half on the Packers, and you'd essentially need to lose out. I know they still do play the Lions again, but I think at this point they would have to win out and have I think the Lions would actually have to win out, and they need the Bears to beat the Packers and then lose out. So the Lions still have like a outside chance to win the division, but it's really the Packers and Bears at this point. So that would certainly be something if the Bears not only win that division, but even they still can win the 1 seed as well. So a lot at stake, but I was super impressed with the Bears here. And what I'll say about the Browns is the only thing that really probably matters for this team at this point is Shador's development, which here, obviously terrible game with the 3 interceptions against a bottom tier defense. I know they're getting healthier, the Bears, so it's definitely better than what it was, but not ideal in that sense. And then Myles Garrett with another sack and a half. So he is now 1 sack away from tying the record and a sack and a half away from breaking the record.
Which just seems inevitable. It's felt inevitable for like 6 weeks, but now it's like, all right, we're here. It's going to happen.
And he might do it in 15 games too, which is even crazier because he's got 21 and a half through 14. So if he gets a sack and a half this next game, he technically beat the record. And I know.
Actually, what am I saying? I'm a Giants fan. I hope he doesn't get it. What the fuck?
Why wouldn't you want him to get it?
I want Strahan to keep that.
Well, I mean, he shares it, and also you're a fake fan anyway, so you would say that.
What the fuck, dude? It's a fucking Strahan.
I mean,
he does share it, but
who the fuck would want? Like, what fan wants their player's record to get broken?
That's fucked, dude. I don't want it. I don't want.
You just said that. You said I hope he breaks it.
I said, wait, no, I don't want to break it. I don't want it broken. No way. No.
Okay, true fan. That's a true fan.
I mean, it'd be cool. It'd be cool because I was too young to like remember Strahan's. But now that I'm like, now that I thought about it again,
I'll
like,
take
you
it
can't.
back.
You can't.
You're legit.
I will say, you know what? Fuck it, break it, because Strahan's was flying around a fucking Eagles flag last year in the playoffs. So that still sits pretty heavy with a lot of Giants fans.
Strahan stole it from Gastineau. We all saw the clip when he was getting in Favre's face.
It's fucked. It's so fucked. I can't believe he did that. It's so fucked. All right, let's move on here. The Ravens just blank the Bengals 24-0. Pretty embarrassing performance from Cincinnati. Joe Burrow, 2 interceptions, threw for 225 yards, but he even said himself, no team in the NFL would have won today if I was the quarterback. So he's taking things pretty heavy. With no T. Higgins, it was a big dose of Jamar Chase, as you'd expect, 10 for 132 on 16 targets. Other than that, man, Chase Brown, 7 for 37. No one else really did shit for this team offensively. I mean, they got shut out. I mean, the fact that Lamar Jackson only had to throw the ball 12 times in this one is crazy, Reagan. 8 for 12, 150, 2 touchdowns and a pick. Bengals did get home 4 times on him, but doesn't matter. Derrick Henry, 11 for 100. Zay Flowers and Rasheen Ali scored the touchdowns. But you look at the box score, you're like, wow, both teams offensively really didn't do much. Ravens didn't really need to, though.
No, they didn't. I mean, this was just pure domination for the Ravens. A nice bounce back game from obviously how they looked on Thanksgiving against the Bengals. Even still, though, like, I wasn't overly impressed with the Ravens offense. I mean, the defense looked great, looked amazing. But the offense, there's still a lot to be desired there. They don't look 100%. I mean, it's good to see Henry get over 100 yards, but, you would have liked to see, and I would have liked to see them do a lot more against, a bottom tier defense. Because, I mean, really, 24 points is like, that's not terrible. But then you're like, oh, one of them was a pick 6. So it's like, not a whole lot of production, but I guess it wasn't needed. But we'll see. I mean, massive, massive game for them against the Patriots upcoming on Sunday Night Football. And I mean, this game tonight against Steelers and Dolphins, we're recording on a Monday. Obviously, we'll have some significant implications as well. But I'm just not overly impressed with this Ravens offense still.
I'm not either, and it's alarming because they've been a juggernaut for the past couple of years, and they just don't seem to have it right now. It's interesting, but no. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the offensive line or Lamar not being healthy, but something's off here about this team.
Something is definitely off. That is for
all right.
Sure.
Moving on here. The Chargers take care of the Chiefs on the road, 16-13. Herbert 210, a touchdown, a pick. The run game, not great, I would say, between Hampton and Vidal, but able to get the job done. Receiving wise, Gadsden 4 for 61. It's better than what we've seen from him. The only touchdown scored for the Chargers, as everyone had on their bet slips, was Keandre Lambert-Smith at plus 1,800. So if you took touchdown scores in this game, you got screwed. And 16-13, that feels right for a Chiefs-Chargers game, to be honest with you. For the Chiefs, yeah, Mahomes left with the torn ACL. It's brutal. He wasn't playing well before that. To be honest with you, he had the rushing touchdown, but had a pick. Not really a great game for him. And now out for the season. Kelsey 7 for 70, Rashi 7 for 51. And as we mentioned, there's no one else you're starting on this Chiefs offense right now. It's a damn shame because Xavier Worthy last year through the playoffs to the Super Bowl, you're like, holy shit, like this is why they took this guy with 4.2 speed in the first round, and you feel good about him in your lineup every week. But this year it's been a completely different story. And now with Gardner Minshew, it just feels like a wash.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, we talked about the Chiefs a lot. That's unfortunate. But let's talk about the Chargers here, man. That's the team that deserves the flowers. I mean, you swept Kansas City this year. And I think they had this game completely in control beforehand anyway. It wasn't like, I don't know when exactly he got banged up, but they were, playing Mahomes the majority of the game, and that defense was playing great against him. In Herbert, like, he just keeps getting it done, and the dude's playing with a broken hand, and I know it's not his throwing hand, but he just keeps getting it done. And it's great they got Hampton back. They're really forming a nice 1-2 punch there. I don't think that they'll catch the Broncos in the division at this point. It seems pretty unlikely. So, they're slated to be, they could really be anywhere between the 5, 6, 7 seed. But if they can get that 5th seed, I really believe they could go into Pittsburgh, or they can go into Baltimore, or if they're the 6th seed, go into Jacksonville, or if they're the 7th seed and have to go to New England. Like, none of those really 4, 3, 2 seeds scare me that the Chargers couldn't go on a little playoff run. Like, I definitely feel more confident now than I did a couple weeks ago. I know the offensive line is still very banged up, but they just keep getting it done, and the defense is playing really well. So this is a team that definitely can compete for the Super Bowl for sure. Right now, like, the Broncos are my team from the start of the year, and they seem to be playing the best right now. Obviously, I think they've won 10 in a row. Like, they're on a crazy streak, and I don't see them catching them in the division because I think they'd need the Broncos to lose out. But yeah, man, the Chargers definitely are a team I could see coming out of the AFC the way they've played this year.
Really? Like, I know we're both really high on them before the season, but I'm still concerned about the offensive line, dude. I'm still concerned about the tackle positions in particular, that I think they're going to run into a team like the Broncos that have a fearsome pass rush, and it's going to be a problem, and their offense can get shut down. Like, I'm still concerned that's what's going to happen to them, and that's going to cause their season to end. Because right now, Herbert's getting hit a lot. Like, even with the broken hand, he is getting hit a lot. And every time he gets hit, I'm watching his hand to see if it's going to bang something and re-aggravate it,
Yeah. I guess the difference for me is it's just the fact that, Herbert could take over any game, where it's like, I guess some of these other teams, it's like,
he's a superstar.
Are you feeling that way with CJ Stroud and the Texans, or Drake May and the Patriots, or Trevor Lawrence and the Jaguars? And I guess it's not necessarily fair to say that about Drake May. And I guess you can say Stroud has taken over in the playoffs. And, I guess that does sound very backhanded, because Herbert's hasn't done much in the playoffs before. And I guess, Lawrence did have the big comeback, and Stroud looked pretty good last playoffs and actually beat Herbert. So I just feel like he's so due to turn it around. I don't know. It's just something about him in the regular season. So hopefully he can bring it into the playoffs and have a big game where, he doesn't lose to a Jaguars or the Texans like they have the past couple times they've made it. But I don't know. I have some faith in them more than I did as of recent, or over the past couple weeks. They just seem to be playing some good football right now.
Okay, I hear you. With a Jim Harbaugh, Justin Herbert combination with that defense, they can win any given Sunday in the playoffs. Yeah. That's for sure. But
that is definitely,
I don't know. I kind of have my concerns on them long term, and can they win 4 in a row?
Yeah, that's not that. Yeah.
The AFC is wide freaking open, though. Wide freaking open.
I think the NFC is too, to be honest. Like, I think this is the most wide open I've ever seen.
The NFC feels like the top of the crop is better, in my opinion. It just feels
but like better. I feel like the top of the crop is pretty. There's decent, like, Rams, Seahawks, Eagles. I would still put the Niners in the top of the crop, and even the Bears,
Packers.
Yeah, like all those teams, like I think
those teams just feel really fucking good. It's like, I don't know, before the season, like, who would have thought the Jags and the Patriots would be like gunning for the you know what I mean?
Me into any team right now to win the Super Bowl, I think you could make a case for, like, that's slated, like, outside of, like, really the Steelers and whoever wins.
I don't think, like, the Jaguars, Trevor Lawrence.
No, but you could make the case the way they've been playing. Like, the Bucks and the
Panthers.
The Bucks and the Panthers, you can't make the case for.
No.
But really, and not the Steelers. But any other team, I think you can make the case, and I would listen to the case. I mean, the only thing is, for me, like, in the betting markets, like, I'm staying away from the Rams. They're plus 320. Like, I don't.
That's
know why. Like,
I'm
think
not
that's
taking anyone at 320.
To me. I don't understand that at all. I mean, for a team that has looked pretty human, and, like, after that loss to the Panthers at home, like, that was, like, to me, like, all right, this team is not as good as people are making them out to be. Seattle as well. It's just the offense has been so hot or cold to put them at, plus 650 for me. I don't love either. But then after that, like, Broncos plus 800, Bills plus 800. Like, I don't mind that at all. So I think you could get pretty good value
like
on
the
everyone.
Bills.
It's just the
I like
Rams
the
and the
Bills,
Seahawks
man.
I'd stay away from. I guess that's more so saying that Vegas doesn't think the NFC is as tight as we do, and they think it's really between the Rams and the Seahawks, where in the AFC they think it's a little more wide open.
See, for me, I really like the Bills in the AFC. Not because I think they have the best roster, because I don't think they do. They have holes on defense. The weapons on offense leaves a lot to be desired.
Yeah.
But they've been there. They've been battle tested. They've gone to war with Mahomes and the Chiefs. How many years in a row now? Like, I don't know, dude. With a year with no Mahomes, the Ravens very vulnerable and some new blood in the playoff tree right now with some quarterbacks that haven't been there, haven't experienced it. I really like the Bills, even as a fucking wild card, to get out of the AFC, man.
Yeah, I know that's understandably so. And I mean, they still could win that division. I mean, that game over the Patriots was massive.
Well, that's the next game I'm waiting to talk about. It's right here, ready to go. 35-31 win for the Bills over the Pats. They're 10-4, New England 11-3, and the Pats blow a 17-point halftime lead at home, which is just nuts. But that's the thing with the Bills, man. They're never fucking out of it with Josh Allen. They're never out of it. And he came all the way back and got it done here. Threw for 193, 3 touchdowns. James Cook over 100 yards and 2 touchdowns himself. Dawson Knox continues his hot streak. Is he tight end 1 over Kincaid right now? I mean, both guys play a shit ton, but Knox's production the last couple of weeks has been sick. And they were able to come back and get this win, man. Drake May threw a pick. I know a couple other fumbles, but that was the only turnover per se. I am stoked with my guy Trayveon Henderson. God damn it. This is what I've been talking about all year. When everyone thought the first 2 months of his season, I was a fucking idiot, beating the drum for Trayveon Henderson to get more of the run than Ramondre Stevenson. This is what I was talking about. The guy scored from over 50 yards twice in this game.
Yeah.
That's now 4 times in the season. That's the most for a rookie back since Saquon in 2018. It's been 7 years. 4 touchdowns of 50 or more yards is crazy, crazy explosiveness, and that's why he's got to be on the field. 14 carries, 148 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And the one where he's behind the line, there's nowhere to go, and he breaks off to the left and cribs it with Drake May run down the field with him.
That was sick.
That's sick. That is sick.
That
when you
sick.
can score from anywhere in any given play, you got to be on the fucking field. I don't care.
Yeah.
And that's
that was
why
so
Henderson, and you know what? Stevenson, 6 carries, 50 yards. 3 receptions, 27 yards. That's making the most of your opportunities, too. 9 touches for 77 yards is a good fucking day at the office, man. But the thing is, he doesn't have the juice like Henderson. So ultimately,
Yeah, I mean,
really
both guys,
tough
he'll
loss
still
for
be
New England,
involved,
but-
Stevenson. It's
Yeah, of
just,
course.
it's also like, I would imagine he's still going to be the goal line back. Like, it wasn't like Henderson was getting the short yard touchdowns. Like, these are bomb touchdowns, which is, what he brings to the table. But I still think, the involvement with Stevenson is still flexible. If you have him on a team, and you could definitely throw him out in your flex spot.
For sure. But,
But
for
what
the
I'll
Pats
say
in
is-
general, are you concerned with this loss blowing a 17-point lead against their division rival? Like, if these teams meet up again in the postseason, they split the regular season series, both road teams won.
Yeah.
Who do you feel more confident in?
The Bills, of course, just because, we've seen Josh Allen, and while he hasn't been able to get to the Super Bowl, he always, or pretty much always, is playing at, in a very elite level where you just haven't seen it with Drake May. Or really a lot of those Patriots. It's a young team, it's a team that rebuilt very quickly, and Mike Vrabel, even himself, he had some very good teams in Tennessee, but ultimately they never were able to get to that top level of the Super Bowl. So it also comes down to the coaching. Not that Sean McDermott's been able to get it done either, but it's just I definitely would feel more confident in the Bills just because of experience. And you got to think Josh Allen's got to break through at some point, right? Between him or Lamar, I mean, it's got to be one of their years, right? I mean, no Burrow and no Mahomes this year, so one of the two has to get it done. Ultimately, will they? I don't know, but you would hope one of them can at least get there.
I
but
agree.
I'm impressed with the Bills. And, listen, I mean, they got 2 really winnable games. They got the Browns and the Jets. That Eagles game is going to be massive for them. And then the Patriots, I mean, they got the Ravens this week, and then they got the Jets and the Dolphins. So, I know the division record, that game might come back to haunt them, where even if Buffalo wins out and the Patriots lose to the Ravens, the Patriots will get in over them because of the fact that the Bills lost to the Dolphins. So that Dolphins loss may come back to haunt them because they'll be 4-2 in division, where the Patriots will be 5-1.
Yeah, that's a great point.
So I think New England's still probably going to win this division. I mean, I guess they don't technically have the tiebreaker. It depends how these losses go. Both teams, or I guess New England has 2 division games left, so all it takes is for them to lose one. And boy, would I love it to be my Jets. Fuck the Patriots.
Balls
would
in
be
their court,
awesome.
man. Balls in their court.
Would
So
be awesome for my Jets to play some spoiler, but and to beat the Bills too. That would be the only nice thing. If the Jets end up winning against the Bills or the Patriots, I'd love to play spoiler and fuck one of them up for the playoffs.
Fuck up your draft pick.
It's fine with me. Like you said, if we draft Mendoza, we're trading up, so we're not going to get the first pick. So I think whether we're at pick 10 or pick 6, I don't think it matters. Like you said, it's their first rounder, and the Colts first rounder probably gets it done. I don't think you have to throw in anything more if it goes from the 6th to the 10th. I still think that's enough to get to 1.
We'll see. It depends on who's where and who needs a quarterback, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Depends.
But that Colts pick looks like it's probably going to be not a playoff pick. It'll probably be like 15 at best. It really depends how they look over the last one. It's going to be somewhere
like
between
17,
15 and 18.
Yeah. Probably where it feels like it's going to land. So,
yeah,
that's the pick that, the Rams probably don't have. The Browns wouldn't have because the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Rams themselves would be in the playoffs. Mm-hmm. So, I don't know. Get it dicey, man.
I don't see the Rams trading up anyway to do that.
They could. Like, Stafford's 38, dog.
Yeah, but why do they need that? That's fine, but I don't think you need to trade up capital. Like, it's pretty clear he's playing at an MVP level. So to do something like that would be pretty asinine when it's like, hey, he's playing at an MVP level. He's not showing the decline. Like, we could take a guy in the 2nd to develop. We don't need to draft a guy first overall.
But how often do 2nd-round quarterbacks work out? Outside of Jalen Hurts, name one more 2nd-round quarterback that you can think of that actually end up being good.
I mean, to what do you consider good? Like, Derek Carr was competent. Geno Smith was competent. Like, I don't know if I would say they're good, but I mean, I would definitely. I mean, they're starters in the NFL.
Okay, so we have Hurts, we have Derek Carr, we have Geno Smith within the last 15 plus years.
Tyler Shuck looks decent so far. I mean, it's been limited, but he looks decent so far.
I'm just saying, you're in a position for the Rams now. Obviously, we're going to have a lot more opportunities to talk about this, but it's almost like you take a page of the Packers playbook and never rebuild because you have an opportunity with 2 first-round picks. When will you ever have that again?
Yeah,
under Sean McVay, to get a guy and let him sit under Stafford for a year and learn why you still can go win. I don't know. It just seems tempting to me.
I think they also don't need to trade up too. They could also take a guy like later, like in the first round as well, with one of those picks without having.
But this quarterback class is going to be Mendoza and maybe Dante Moore, and that's probably it first round worthy.
Yeah,
right. Because Ty Simpson's fallen off a cliff. So
because you could say Green Bay took Jordan Love that year, but they didn't trade up any capital to get him. They just took him where he was at.
But there were also 5 quarterbacks in the first round that year, not 2.
Yeah. I don't know. I find that theory hard to believe.
Okay.
But I guess that would be a close scenario, just because older quarterback playing at an MVP level.
Yeah. Right. All right, we don't got to spend a lot of time on this one because it was an ass beating. I mean, fucking Tanner McKee got in the game for Philly, but 31-0 win over the Raiders, who dropped to 2-12, and the tank is in full swing for Vegas. I mean, Kenny Pickett, 64 passing yards and a pick. Genty, 9 carries for 35 yards. Holy shit. That's one of the worst offensive performances I've ever seen. For Philly, Hurts threw the ball 15 times. 175, 3 tutties here. 2 to Dallas Goedert. Course, I was going against Dallas Goedert in the fantasy league. I lost. That'll get you, man, when Dallas Goedert drops a 30 bomb on your head. Devontae Smith, 2 for 50. A.J. Brown back in the end zone. Barkley back in the end zone. We talked about it last week, Reagan. Just a perfect get-right game for the Eagles, and boy, did they get right.
They did get right. I mean, hey, what a great way to get right. I think at this point it's pretty evident that the Raiders are by far the worst team in the league. I mean, only 75 yards of total offense. I heard or I saw a stat that the backups for Philly had more yards. Like, just when Tanner McKee and all the backups came in, they had I think 79 or 80 yards total. So just with them alone, they achieved more yards. Shows you how big of a dumpster fire the Raiders are. But hey, it's a good get right game for the Eagles. You get some confidence back. Saquon looked good. A.J. Brown looked good. The whole offense looked good. And obviously the defense, I mean, to hold the team under 100 yards is fucking so impressive, no matter who they're throwing out there. That just shows how dominant they were. So this is a great tune-up game. I would imagine they're going to look really good against the Commanders on Saturday. And hey, I mean, I think a lot of people are forgetting Philly, but at 11-1, that's pretty good value for the returning Super Bowl champs.
It definitely
I
is,
definitely
man.
think they're worth a sprinkle right now to win the Super Bowl with their pedigree.
Moving on here, the Jags 48-20 win over your New York Jets, who dropped to 3-11. Jacksonville 10-4, firing on all cylinders. It was the Trevor Lawrence legacy game. 20 of 32, 330 yards, 5 touchdowns, and then on the ground, 5 carries, 51 yards, and another touchdown. He had 6 touchdowns, over 40 fantasy points. What a performance! 3 of those touchdowns through the air to Travis Etienne, who had 3 catches, 73 yards, 3 touchdowns. What an insane stat line. I tell you what, Jacoby Myers continues to be awesome in this Jags offense, 5 for 71. Honestly, it just makes me really excited for Travis Hunter in 2026, seeing what he could do. Brian Thomas, 4 for 66 and a touchdown. You love to see that as well. And Bayshell Tootin got a little bit of the love as well, getting in the end zone.
Hurt.
He did get hurt.
He's going to miss, it sounds like a couple weeks with a hand injury or finger injury or something they were saying, which is,
full go ETN, baby.
I was
going to
say,
ETN.
Yeah.
Even though he's got Denver this week, I'm still starting him. I don't give a fuck. He's going to get over 20 touches probably in that game, especially after this performance.
Roman Big Dogs. Let him get his revenge.
No, he's banned, dude. He's on the ban. He's the only guy in the ban list.
Get back.
He's the only guy in the ban list. So, that's not going to change, even though he did go off for me in fantasy this week. For your Jets, I mean, Brady Cook, 3 interceptions. Did throw a touchdown to A.D. Mitchell, who's probably the lone bright spot right now, 6 for 58. Isaiah Davis scored.
That's
Brees
nice.
Hall, 12 for 23, kind of cheeks, man. He's honestly, it's hard to blame Brees Hall given the state of this offense, but he really burned me in fantasy. I'm not gonna lie, last week.
I mean, you can't bench him, and especially this week against the Saints. Like, that's a good matchup if you do have Brees Hall and you're still in it, which I'm sure there are people, but it definitely makes you a little hesitant. But you have to play him against the Saints because that's a positive script where you think, or you would think, that this game shouldn't get out of hand for both sides. So, that they wouldn't have to do it. I just can't believe how they just haven't used his receiving skill set that we've seen over the past couple of years. But that might be a need for an offensive coordinator change as well. But regardless of that, I mean, Jaguars took care of business. Great tune-up game for them and for the Jets. I mean, it's just a lost season, but it's good to see guys like A.D. Mitchell balling out. But at least we know Brady Cook is not the guy. I am curious, who they roll with the rest of the year. It doesn't, not that it matters. And I even saw like a gag stat going around. This is now the 15th consecutive year that the Jets have thrown out an undrafted quarterback. And in the comments, people were like, "Oh, is that real?" And it's like, oh shit. It's like, it's not a real stat, but it's crazy enough and believable enough.
People believe it.
Yeah. Could you be shocked, if the fucking Jets, had an undrafted guy start a quarterback? And it's like, yeah,
it's tough. That's tough, brother.
It don't matter. It don't matter.
Speaking of taking care of business, so did the Houston Texans over the Cardinals, 40-20. They doubled them up, improved to 9-5, including 5-2 at home, which, could very much matter in the wild card round for Houston in this one. Arizona at 3-11. Season's done. Brissett still slanging that thing around the yard. 249, 3 touchdowns a pick. I mean, if nothing else, the Cardinals are fun, especially if you're a gambler or in fantasy or doing daily fantasy, because their defense will get cooked up a little bit, but Brissett will slang that thing to Trey McBride and Michael Wilson all day. McBride, 12 for 134 and 2 tuts. Holy shit. Doesn't matter. He's going against Houston. He's still going to do that. Michael Wilson, 5 for 54 and a touchdown. He stays hot. For Houston, though, I mean, CJ Stroud, what a performance. 22 of 29, 263 touchdowns. Only got sacked 1 time, which is a big thing because I will say that Arizona defensive line is not your father's Arizona defensive line. They got some dogs on that D-line now. So Houston keeping Stroud clean, very promising. Nico Collins, 3 catches only on 4 targets, which kind of sucks ass. But he turned into 85 for 2 touchdowns. So it worked out this week. We need to see those numbers get up, man. Not going to lie. Dalton Schultz, a good game for him, 8 for 76 and a touchdown. And, I mean, Jawar Jordan, 15 carries for 101 yards.
Down.
Who the fuck is Jawar Jordan? Should we have our eyes on this cat?
I don't think you could I don't know if you want to play him in a pinch, but if Woody Marks misses, like you'd think you'd get the volume. I mean, Nick
Woody Marks
Chubb's
gets hurt
injured.
every week. He gets hurt
Woody
every
Marks
week.
is injured. Like, I mean, it's definitely something of note for Dynasty. I mean, I don't think you can plug him in your lineup with any confidence, but for Dynasty, he's definitely worth a pickup. You know, I'd imagine the Texans probably maybe drafting a running back next year. I mean, Woody Marks has looked good, but, the capital's not there. So, but I would say he's worth a Dynasty stash, this guy.
Maybe Jawar Jordan. Hey.
And I will say, I mean, for the Cardinals, like Jacoby Brissett is like, he might just be the best at slanging that thing. I mean, fuck.
Is he number one that slang that thing rankings?
Bro, you should just live bet his passing yards every fucking week at halftime. It just seems like the second half garbage time is amazing. Like, I think it's week 17. We get the Bengals Cardinals, so that should be fireworks, that game.
Yeah, that'll be fun for
you should have something in big dogs in that one. And even the Cardinals this week, they get the Falcons. So, like, the next 2 weeks of Falcons, like, fire up your guys. Obviously looked great and just keep getting it done. I mean, even so, like the defense didn't really get like 20 points is like more garbage time. It's just like hard to even for the best defense when Jacoby garbage time Brissett comes into town. It's tough,
Yeah, it is, man. All right, let's talk about a game that has more implications here. The Broncos get it done at home against the Packers, 34-26. Denver 10 wins in a row, 12-2 in the season. 7-0 at Mile High. Green Bay now 9-4-1, and more importantly in the loss this game was losing Micah Parsons for the season.
Yeah.
Josh Jacobs, a hell of a game from him, 12 for 73 and a touchdown on the ground, and then that sick touchdown catch, 2 for 19 through the air. So 2 touchdowns for Jacobs. They loaned 2 touchdowns from this Packers offense. Golden was the leading receiver, actually, 3 for 55, which is interesting. Jayden Reed, 5 for 55. Christian Watson did leave with a shoulder injury, but apparently everything's clean and he should be good to go next week, which is massive because Christian Watson's been good for this offense and obviously he's missed a lot of time throughout his career. So they finally get that receiver core healthy back with Jayden Reed and Matthew Golden, and seeing Christian Watson go down, not ideal up in Green Bay, Wisconsin. But hey, this game is about Bo Nix, man. Throwing for 300 yards and 4 touchdowns with no turnovers against this Packers defense is not easy to do. That's with RJ Harvey also losing a fumble. He did score another touchdown in this one, so that was great to see. You got him in fantasy. He's dominating this backfield, 19 carries compared to Jaleel McLaughlin's 2. So it's full RJ Harvey go time, and I think you're comfortable starting him semifinals and the finals. Rev him up because even though the yards per carry are not great right now, the volume is there, and he does have a threat as a receiver, even though he did not have a reception in this game.
We share a team, and we went wide receiver, tight end heavy, and our running backs, we were like, we're going to throw out Chuba Hubbard, and, hopefully one of Harvey or Trayveon Henderson works out. And then, we also have Tootin as well on the bench. We drafted a lot of rookie running backs, and, between Harvey and Henderson, it's like, whoa, these stocks really turned out. We also had Dowdle as a handcuff for Hubbard. So,
it worked out. Really
coming into shape now because we punted the running backs, and all these guys are hitting where we went wide receiver heavy. We went like CD, Brian Thomas, Trey McBride early, and it's like, and DK. And now it's all coming together because all these running backs that we waited on are like fully hitting their peak of what you can only hope for at the perfect time. I will say about the Broncos, though, I don't know how the hell they were underdogs in this matchup. I mean, Vegas just continues to disrespect these guys. And it's funny, too. They've had so many clips, and then you look at it, and it's like, the one, a one where it's like, they finally might lose. They have one of their biggest win margin wins all season. Actually, that outside of the Cowboys win, I think that is their second. Oh, and the Bengals they killed, but that's the third biggest margin of victory all year. And they played
holy shit
very, very tight this year. I mean, they almost lost to the Jets, the Giants, and the Raiders. Like when you think about it, it's hilarious that between the Jets, Giants, and Raiders, they had games that were decided by 3 or less in all 3 of those, and those are 3 of the bottom feeder teams in the league. So that just shows you the Broncos season. But like you said, Bo Nix cooked in this one, and what's even better about that is he hasn't looked amazing all season. Definitely was hitting a little bit of a sophomore slump, but recently he's been playing much better football. The running game's been getting going, which obviously, took a major hit when Dobbins went down. But as a passer, I mean, he's looked great the past, I guess you could really the past 4 games, he's really been playing a lot better than we've seen the majority of the season. And his numbers, while the touchdowns haven't been crazy, but he's just been way more efficient as a passer. So I'm excited to see what he can continue to do down the stretch. And it's good to see that, Cortland Sutton was heavily involved in this one, and as well as Troy Franklin.
6 for 85 for Troy. They both got in the end zone. So did Jordan Humphrey, who started the season in the Giants practice squad. So he's the 3rd leading receiver getting the.
No, that's good. As a Giants fan, you should want to see, you're happy to see they're doing right by the franchise. And, I guess you're rooting for a Broncos ring to make sure he got one, because then it's basically a Giants ring.
I guess so, man.
Right? That's a good way to positive spin on it.
Yeah, we love positivity on this podcast. All right, moving on. The Rams 41-34 over the Lions. They improved to 11-3 and 6-1 at home. Detroit at 8-6. Man, for a team that is just so good on paper, and honestly, hanging 34 on the Rams is pretty sick. The defense has just been the problem for this Lions team all year, dude. It really has been. I mean, Jared Goff throwing for 338 and 3 touchdowns. Amon-Ra, 13 for 164 and 2 touchdowns. Jameson Williams, 7 for 134 and a touchdown. It's like, fuck, what more else do you want from your passing attack? I get it. The ground game was not good in this one. Montgomery did punch one in, but hanging 34 points in the Rams, it's not easy to do, man. It's all you can ask for from your offense. But the defense let them down outside of, I guess you could say, Aiden Hutchinson, who had a sack and that interception that was fucking nuts. But outside of that, no one really played well in this defense, and they need to really address the secondary in the offseason. They need help at cornerback. Bad. Puka Nacua, 9 for 181 yards in this game. Fucking nuts. Colby Parkinson, you mentioned earlier, is a guy to pick up, 5 for 75 and 2 tutties. Devontae had a good game before leaving. Stafford, 368 and 2 touchdowns. Did have a pick, but the Hutchinson, but I mean, he lit him up. And then the run game, the combination of Kyren Williams and Blake Corum, again, both guys over 70 yards, a touchdown for Corum, 2 tutties for Kyren. That seems like they can just run that 2-headed monster and play action off that to Puka Nacua and be just fine without Devontae Adams.
Yeah. I mean, the Rams just look dominant. I mean, it is interesting the way that this is splitting out. They got a nice 1-2 punch in Corum and Kyren. So Corum's definitely flexible at this point. I know Garrett was me and him were talking about it last week. They're still out in a lot of leagues, and we're like, look, if you're in a pinch, or it was 2 weeks ago, I'm sorry, if you're in a pinch, Corum's a viable flex option, and I fully believe that. And you'd think with Adams being out, that might be an uptick for both running backs, because they kind of like to use them both around the goal line, and both have been very efficient, which is good. Like I said, Colby Parkinson, a guy to target after the 5 for 75 and 2 touchdowns, especially with Adams going down. I wouldn't put in any of those receivers. I don't know if any of them will really establish themselves as a viable player. I mean, on the Lions side, I mean, St. Brown was pretty fucking dominant in this game. It kind of is wild to think that on Thanksgiving we were like, this guy might be out for a couple weeks, and then for him to do what he did last week and this week, it's like this guy's just
it's insane,
a freak. But yeah, I mean, it was weird to see Jahmyr Gibbs get bottled like this.
Yeah,
but
right.
I will say the Rams are really good against running backs. So they've bottled a lot of good running backs this year. But yeah, that was very, very surprising. So a lot of people probably got bounced out in their underdog leagues and fantasy playoffs if you had Jahmyr Gibbs, because that was quite the dud he put up.
You see his last 7 games: 0 touchdowns, 3 touchdowns, 0 touchdowns, 3 touchdowns, 0 touchdowns. So if you follow that, Jahmyr Gibbs 3 touchdowns is the play next week.
At least in big dogs, I bet, right? Like a 3. At least get him in there for 1, right?
Yeah, the problem is he was like minus fucking 200 in this game.
Yeah,
it's like,
it's not worth it.
It's tough because then you get the Montgomery snake and you're like, come on. You got a little greedy putting Gibbs in there,
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, I did have Gibbs in a 4 p.m. only touchdown parlay. It did for fun season. It bit me in the ass. Bit me in the ass, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
All right. Don't want to spend a ton of time in this one. I acknowledge we already are an hour and 10 into the pod in this game. Not a ton of implications outside the Panthers, but as we've talked about, what really matters is them in Tampa Bay at this point, with both teams losing this week. Carolina lost 20-17 to the Saints, who improved to 4-10. Carolina drops to 7-7. Bryce Young, not his best performance, 163 yards, a touchdown. Coker was the one that was the benefactor of that touchdown. Tet got bottled in this one, 2 for 25. Not great. The run game, you know what? Chuba did bite into it a lot last week, but this week, 8 for 29 for Chuba. It was 16 for 49. Not very, not like it was more efficient for Dowdle, but he did find pay dirt, which gave him the better week, and he did double up the touches over Chuba Hubbard. For the Saints, Shuck took care of the football, threw a touchdown. 272 is nice. Olave scored that touchdown. A good game from him. Devon Vele, who they traded a 4th-round pick for with Denver before the season. Everyone's like, what the fuck are the Saints doing? Pretty quiet most of the year, but once they traded away Shaheed, he started to get some run. He had 5 for 69 in this one. An interesting player because you're like, oh, he's a young guy. He hasn't been in the league long, but I think he's like 27 years old. He got in the league.
Yeah,
really
he's
late,
an old-ass rookie,
yeah.
bro. And they gave up like weird cap. Remember when they traded for him? We are like, whoa, that's a lot. That's a lot.
4th-round pick for, I think he was a rookie last year, right?
Yeah,
and
he was.
A 26-year-old rookie, and now it's yeah. So, but hey, he's getting the job done here. Fucking shit, Audric Estime too, another former Bronco, getting some run in this one. The 3rd leading receiver. Obviously, not a ton to write home about here. The Saints got to win. Fucked up a draft pick a little bit. Good for the culture though. Good for Kellen Moore. Good for Tyler Shuck. Get another win under the belts. For Carolina, just a head scratcher. Like divisions within reach, and losing to the Saints is not a good sign.
No, second time losing them too. What I will say, first off with the Saints, they're the one that deserves the flower with the win. I want to talk about this real quick. I think Tyler Shuck to win Rookie of the Year is very, very much in play right now. That race is wide open. He's currently 25-1, and their last 3-game stretch, they could win all 3. And then he'll be going out on a 5-game winning streak into next year. They got the Jets, they got the Titans, and they got the Falcons. So if he goes out and wins 5 straight games, or actually, it would be 5 straight games. He's played really good as of recent during this winning streak. Obviously, this week, 272 and a touchdown and with his legs. And then last week, a big win against Tampa Bay. Looked good. And even before that, like against Miami in that loss, like he played good. The numbers are there. It's a wide open race. And if you're like, listen, this guy ended the season on a 5-game winning streak, not only is he going to keep the job, keep them from drafting somebody, which I don't think they will anyway. I don't think Kellen Moore.
I don't think they will either.
Like, he's looked good enough to me that he deserves a job. But I think he, at 25-1, is incredible value, just looking at the last 3 games, where if he's to ball out, he could easily take that award.
Interesting. I believe the race right now is...
It's
Tet the favorite right now?
No, Henderson is now.
Oh, now Henderson. So it's crazy. It was Dart for a while. There was a Puka for a while. It was Dart for a while. There was Tet for a little bit. And now it's Henderson.
Yeah, and that's my point, bro. It's so hit or miss with that. Like it's a weekly award where the odds shift so significantly after like the recency bias, where it's like Dart's even 5-1 right now. Like Tet's 2-1, Abuka's 2-1 as well. Warren's 15-1. I think Warren's chalked with Rivers now, but I think Shuck. I mean, it's a QB award, bro. Like they're gonna go with Dart. If Dart or Shuck,
I'm surprised Dart's 3rd or 4th.
No, he's 4th.
Yeah,
it's probably because he's kind of fell off a little bit of recent, like where the numbers haven't really been that crazy. And also, it's like
the best quarterback numbers, and Abuka's fallen off. Like, I'm not shocked that like Tet's above them.
Games.
Yeah, because they've lost like 6 in a row, something like that. They got 2 wins, right? I get it, but he does have the best stats of the rookie quarterbacks, and I'm just surprised. I can get behind Henderson or Tet. I'm surprised that Puka is still over Dart, to be honest with you.
Yeah, but I'm telling you, man, I think there's a good chance, and I love the value on that. So just saying, I'm not saying throw a ton, but I think, there's a clear path set up for him where if he is able to ball out 3 winnable games and end on a 5-game winning streak, I definitely think, there's a case for him to win it, especially a team that was projected to be the worst coming into the season to win 7 games is very impressive. And then that would definitely put Kellen Moore at a very hot name next year, coming in for a nice turnaround for the Saints in year 2. But what I will say, for the Panthers, this is just a bad loss. I mean, you had everything laid out. I said this on the podcast. I'm like, obviously, I'm riding with the Panthers no matter what. But I'm like, if the Bucs lose, the Panthers are going to lose because they're going to be looking ahead to next week. And that's kind of how I felt what happened. They got off to the early lead and then kind of coasted until they couldn't coast no more. Bryce was okay. Like, he wasn't bad, but he definitely wasn't great. And Tet really got shut down. Like, that's the crazy thing to me, too. It's like Tet was 2 for 25, and he's one of the favorites to win the award. Oh, you can't hear me. Okay. I think it's on your end. But so, I mean, it just shows you like how the Rookie of the Year award's been so weird, even with Tech getting shut down. But, not a good week from the Panthers. This is one you got to have. You got to win. You really could have, put yourself in a good position to win this division, and ultimately you don't. So, the good thing for them is 2 of their next 3 games are against Tampa Bay, but this could have really put them in a better spot, especially with them knowing, their fate before this matchup.
For sure. All right, moving on here. San Fran takes care of the lowly Titans, 37-24. San Fran now 10-4. Tennessee 2-12, and in the race for the number 1 overall pick. I mean, Cam Ward didn't throw a pick. That's good. Didn't fumble. That's good. 170 yards, 2 touchdowns with that crop of receivers, I guess could be worse. Gunnar Helm got in the end zone. The former, where do you go to college, Reagan? Gunnar Helm?
Texas.
Chop. Yes, sir.
I know, ball.
Yep. Hook 'em horns. Gunnar Helm 4 for 49 and a touchdown. Outside of that, nothing to write home about this receiver core. That's for sure. But Tony Pollard stays hot. 14 for 104 and a touchdown. I don't know where this came from, this late season surge from Tony Pollard, but
yeah, right.
I guess you're fine. Plug him in at flex right now, how he's played the last couple weeks. For the Niners here, Purdy. Tell you what, since he got back from injury, he's been pretty fucking good. 295, 3 touchdowns in this one. 1 being to Kittle, 2 to Juwan Jennings. McCaffrey punched one in on the ground as well. Ricky Pearsall, 6 for 96. Unfortunately, hurt his ankle. The guy just can't seem to stay healthy.
No.
Of course, missed a lot of time with the knee this year, has missed time throughout his career. But this one with the ankle, when he's a leading receiver, just really, really stings.
Yeah. I mean, hey, just a big dominant win for the Niners. I mean, for the Titans, though, especially with Tony Pollard, it's funny. That was my draft guy, and obviously he's been pretty bad all year, but recently he's been turning it up. So
yeah,
I'm curious if I don't know what to exactly make of it at this point, but it's definitely interesting. What I will say as well, for the Niners, like they're a team that could be the 7 seed or the 1 seed as well. But I've been impressed. It'll be an interesting test for them against the Colts. But to get lit up like that on the ground by, I guess, Tony Pollard is definitely, if you have Jonathan Taylor, something to be excited about in your fantasy matchups where you might be a little nervous right now with that. What else? I mean, for the Titans, I guess Cam Ward looked pretty good in this game. It's just funny. You saw the clip of Jeffrey Simmons, kind of like moving around and working with Cam Ward. And it's like, wow, like, their defensive tackles working to get open for him, and it's like their wide receivers can't do it.
I know.
But hey, I mean, it was a good ball. He gave his guy a chance, and he got open for him. So, but it is what it is. I mean, not a whole lot to write home about for the Titans every week, but
nah, they're a boring team, man. They are just definitely the most boring team in football right now, and that's crazy when you have the number 1 overall pick at quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
All right, man. Let's move on here to the Seattle Seahawks that take care of Phillip Rivers and the Colts, 18-16. Teams traded field goals at the end of the game, but Seattle got the ball, I guess technically not last because there was a little bit of time for Rivers to try to get down the field and get another field goal. But given the state of his wing at this point in time, wasn't really able to push the ball enough downfield to get back into field goal range. Rivers 120 yards, a touchdown, a pick on 18 of 27 passing. He only got sacked 1 time. Clearly, they got the ball out quick because he is a statue back there. But
yeah, statue of all statues.
Yeah, JT 25 for 87. Clearly, Seattle was gearing up on JT and loading the box to try to stop that. As you could imagine, nothing to write home about in the receiving box score for Indy besides that Josh Downs got a touchdown in this one. For Seattle, Darnold 271, no touchdowns, no picks. It was a game of field goals. 6 field goals for Seattle here. They did not score.
Jason Myers has been on the tear, number 1 fantasy kicker.
Guy's a tank. JSN 7 for 113. He's also a tank. Rashid Shaheed 5 for 74. He's been a great ad for this Seattle Seahawks team. Running back wise, Charbonnet 8 for 31. Walker 9 for 17. Just week in and week out, no idea what to expect from this backfield. I don't know how you have confidence in either of these guys going into this matchup against the Rams on Thursday Night Football.
No, I don't know how you would either. I mean, their running back room has been bad this year. It's been very touchdown dependent. I mean, the receiving room's great, and like Darnold could have a pretty good game, but to have any confidence in Walker or Charbonnet going forward is not ideal. I mean, that was my biggest kickback. It hasn't mattered. The defense has been insane, and I have a league where I have Myers and Seattle, which is crazy because it's like both of them are the number one rated position group, or Myers being the number one kicker. I think he's averaging like almost 13 points a game, which is insane.
Kickers matter.
Kickers definitely matter. And I would imagine he'll probably have another pretty good game against the Rams, and one where we think they'll be able to move the ball but get a lot of stops. But yeah, I mean, Seattle just keeps getting it done. I kind of felt this was trappy, so that's why I took the Colts to cover. When I switched it, I'm like, it doesn't make sense, but like somehow Phillip Rivers will keep him in this game. I guess more so it was the defense that kept him in the game.
Without their top two corners, I was shocked.
Yeah.
I was shocked.
Also Seattle's been really good against the spread and blowing teams out of the water, so you kind of had to think they were due for not a dud, because I wouldn't consider that a dud. The defense looked great, and like even the offense was moving the ball. They just couldn't punch it in a lot. But like that game doesn't make me like worry about Seattle. Like the Colts still have a lot of guys there. There's a reason they were winning so many games early on. Wow, Connor Hayward, first touchdown score. Ooh, the number 4 tight end for the Steelers.
Where'd he go to school?
I don't know, and I don't care. Michigan State, maybe.
Yeah, go green.
But that still pisses me off. Oh my gosh, the number 4 tight end for the Steelers. We didn't have that on the wheel.
Yeah, it's not even on the fucking wheel. I hate when it's a guy not even on the wheel. I mean, we got fucking Darnell Washington pushing him. It's like, yeah, he's probably gonna get in.
How many fucking carries this guy is? 4 QB sneaks tonight. What the hell?
Yeah, dude, it's insane. Rodgers ain't doing that.
No, Rodgers is not. Rodgers is not. But anyway.
All right, good to go to the last game.
Yeah,
Sunday Night Football. 9 in the Minnesota Vikings.
What I say?
26. You were right. You were on this a week ago. You're like,
it?
I just got a feeling 9's going to go in there and beat up on the Cowboys. And I tell you what, man, 9 throwing for 250 yards, 2 touchdowns and a pick. Pretty sick. 15-24. Now, what would have been more sick was that, like, if Justin Jefferson was the benefactor there, but he wasn't. 2 for 22. I believe that's 4 games in a row, less than 10 fantasy points for Justin Jefferson. And here I am in the semifinals. Like, hello, darkness, my old friend. I'm going to start him again. It is the Giants for Minnesota this week. So, honestly, Minnesota, and specifically J.J. McCarthy, for all the shit they've gotten offensively, in your fantasy playoffs, getting a Dallas Giants draw the first 2 weeks of the playoffs is almost as good as it gets. Like, give me the Bengals and you complete the trifecta. But
yeah,
regardless,
I mean, even against Detroit though, on Christmas, like I don't think that's a bad draw either.
That's not a bad draw either, man. It should be a fun one. It should be a shootout like most Detroit games are. And the run game was not there. Granted, with the new tandem Dallas has in the interior, definitely more difficult to run the ball in this team than it used to be. But now that Jones or Mason could get going, of course, CJ Ham punched one in from 1 yard out, and 9 punched one in on the fake handoff, bootleg, Peyton Manning style, and he grittied into the end zone. Getting it done. Anytime touchdown, plus 400 for J.J. McCarthy. Jordan Addison, leading receiver, 2 for 66. So was Hawkinson. He had 4 for 66. Jalen Naylor from Michigan State, go green, had 2 tutties in this one as well. For Dallas, Dak threw for 294 yards. Very interesting. No touchdown passes, despite CeeDee Lamb going 6 for 111. Pickens back down to earth, 3 for 33. I know he burned me like a motherfucker last night. Still pissed at this guy. I parlayed him to score with 9, and I was like, wow, things just got interesting because that was a juicy lay. Obviously, both plus money. JJ super plus money. Didn't work, but it was Javonte Williams and Malik Davis scoring for Dallas. Now at 6-7-1, the Cowboys season is essentially over. Not going to make the playoffs.
I think they need Philly to lose out, right?
Yeah,
they'd have to win out, and Philly would have to lose out. Yeah, because they have because then they would. Yep. That's exactly what needs to happen, and that's not going to happen. So
it's not going to happen. Minnesota 6-8, their season's over too. But Sunday Night Football, good fantasy playoff implications. I don't know your thoughts on these squads. I mean, good for McCarthy. The guy's been taking a lot of heat. Yeah, not that I'm a JJ fan, but
I was super impressed. Really from all fast. Like I was impressed. Like he just looked great, bro. Like this is exactly, what he can do, this guy. So it's good to see him continuing to develop. I don't really care about the whole, the fact that him and Jefferson haven't been on the same page, that just excites me that he's doing all this with really out using his number one receiver. So if they can figure out this connection in the offseason, like this guy could be special. I mean, I already think he is special. He's a winner. So I'm going to be very optimistic on the Vikings next year. That division's just loaded. Like even at 6-8, I feel like they're a pretty good team. They're better than their record shows to me. But yeah.
I mean, the defense it's a top 10 unit. So if they could just figure it out offensively, McCarthy, like these are valuable game reps for him. Get him these next 3, another offseason to like learn the system and work on his footwork and his mechanics and the such. And obviously, I hope he fucking rents a house in Justin Jefferson's neighborhood in the offseason. They fucking train every day because that's really what they're missing. If you can get on track with Justin Jefferson, like I think we'd be looking at the Vikings in a much different light at this point of the season.
Yeah. And I feel optimistic about him. I'm going to be trying to pick him up because I have Mahomes in a league, so I'm going to be trying to pick him up in my fantasy leagues to start next week against the Giants. I definitely think that is very much in play.
I like it, man. Well, that wraps up our Week 15 recap. You know the boys will be back later this week to talk all things Week 16. You got playoff fantasy implications. You don't know who to start, who to sit. We're your guys. Submit the questions. Drop a comment. We'll comment back. We'll fire it. We'll keep you posted, man. Come on. It's fantasy playoffs. We're getting near the NFL playoffs. It's a great time to be alive. We'll catch you soon.